News at 7. Good morning. I'm Shannon Litton alongside Rob Johnson, and we do begin today with a first alert weather day.
We want to get right to our team of meteorologists. We are tracking a very serious storm, bringing up high water across all three of our states. Let's get right over to Brandon and Nicholas.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. This is something we're coming in. I was coming in about 1 o'clock this morning, saw North Boulevard, water on the roadway, but not out of the banks yet. What was happening was that water's trying to get into the river, but its entry point was already submerged and it was backing up everywhere. Well, now we've got flooding problems everywhere.
Yeah, big time flood issues, especially toward those small creeks. Even flash flood emergencies out. We're talking flash flood emergencies all along that I-64 corridor right now, and that is a very concerning thing because you are going to have property damage. You're going to have life-threatening type of situations here with these flash flood warnings.
Whenever you have a flash flood warning and they throw up the word catastrophic next to it, that's the highest level of flash flood warning we can have, and it's essentially the tornado warning of flash flood warnings, where we're expecting property problems and maybe rescues that have to happen, and we've already had reports of that this morning, which is why we're both in here going to be dealing with all of the issues and trying to get as much information to you as possible. Why don't you tell us about what is going on right now?
Yeah, currently many flash warnings. Our radar is currently showing a bunch of thunderstorms kind of lining up, moving their way on into the area right now. I want to zoom on in to near that I-64 corridor here. Well, first we'll talk about the warnings. Flash flood warning is in place. Again, that catastrophic flash flood warning for portions of Wayne, Cabell, all the way out to Kanawha and portions of Putnam County as well for the morning. Of course, this is all about that first alert weather day. We're talking heavy rain right now and that snow threat coming on a little bit later. That's next week, but we really have to focus on what is happening right now with the localized flooding and, of course, the catastrophic flooding that is ongoing. Temperatures right now into the 40s and 50s further to the south, into the 30s further to the north, and that's why, of course, we're seeing quite a bit of that activity going on right now. First alert weather day really continues through that 9 a.m. hour. We're talking about those temperatures. But again, those storms and rain going to cause that flooding. By the afternoon, though, we are going to see those clearer conditions all around the region, and things will look to be a little bit better. Here's the radar. We're going to zoom on out and show you kind of what's going on. Of course, we are in that area of low pressure right now that is showing all the rain that is happening right now. There is a bit of a break off to the west that sets the stage for a much better Friday. But again, right now we're dealing with those catastrophic flash flood warnings and things of that nature. We're going to have much more on everything that's going on right now. That's coming up in just a bit.
All right, Nick, thanks so much. We want to get to your first alert traffic this morning. And if you've been hearing rumbles of thunder in our studio, it's because that storm is actively moving through here. I want to start you out here with a live look over at US 52 at Charlie Creek Road. You can really see that rain coming down through here. And really, we're dealing with ponding water along US 52. And that's all the way from Ironton and parts of Sauter County all the way into South Point and Chesapeake, as you're seeing here. So not going to be a good day to be using the cruise control this morning. Here's what it looks like right now over at the West 17th Street Bridge interchange in Huntington, coming down pretty hard through here. You can even see a little bit anyway. The cars that are going through here are actually going much slower than they would through this area. But across the region, of course, we're dealing with water on the roadways. Now, these are drivable at this point, but that being said, you have to take it very much slower this morning because of that threat. Now, we're also dealing with water rescues all over Kanawha County and Putnam County. There are road closures as well. We're trying to get that information from dispatchers, but at this point, they are overwhelmed with the number of calls that they're getting from people asking for help. We've been showing you a lot of that over on WSAZ during the Today show. Now, here's what it looks like right now over at the Fort Hill Bridge. We know that parts of eastbound I-64 have been closed earlier this morning because the parts of the road were impassable. Also want to give you a live look outside at the area of the Ashland Twin Bridges this morning. Over there, you can see the water covering the roadway there, of course, because of the rain that we've been dealing with throughout this morning. And, of course, you can see at the bottom of your screen a lot of those alerts going through there. I know they're covering the school closings that you're interested in this morning, but we do know that, of course, before 5 o'clock this morning, we were dealing with 2, maybe 4 school closings. Now we're dealing with more than 12. All of those are available right now over on WSAZ.com. I know it's frustrating that you can't see them right now, but the alert that you're seeing on your screen right now at this point is more important because of the threat that this flooding is bringing to our region. We also
want you to start telling us to get us some pictures.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're seeing through pictures in your neighborhood. Are you seeing high water? Are you seeing a road closed? We can't get our crews to a lot of these spots because the roads are closed on us. So we need your help this morning to take those pictures, send them to us. You can submit them on WSAZ.com. Submit them that way. That way we have the legal authority to show your pictures because you'll sign off on it. But please send us some pictures of what you're seeing.
Yeah, we do appreciate you emailing us those pictures and texting them to us. But oh wow, did you just see that lightning strike?
Yes, I did. We've taken several really big lightning bolts right around our studio just while we've been doing the forecast and the traffic, and we heard 3 massive rumbles of thunder that came from it like it's a spring storm, and yet here we are the first week of February.
And we know western parts of the region, outside of our region, dealing with tornado watches and warnings, so that line of storm is going to be coming into our region as well. But we are dealing with high water across our region. We do want to get out to WSAZ's Victoria Ware, who's in Charleston, to show some of those spots of concern. Victoria?
Shannon, I'm here on Virginia Street West, where the viaduct is flooded and water has pooled at the bottom of the viaduct. The rain isn't coming down as much as it was earlier, but like other roads in the area, there have been orange barricades that have been placed to keep people from going through. Now, this particular area, there's a sign in front of the barricade saying road closed, so it's not even accessible for drivers to even try to get through. It's just another example of the high water we've been seeing and hearing throughout our region, especially here in Charleston. So if you come to a flooded road, it's best just not to risk it. Turn around, find another route, because we've been hearing reports of water rescues. So even a few inches of water can be problematic. So whenever you're going out to your destination today, give yourself time to find another way. If you have to be out on the roads today, give yourself plenty enough time to find an alternate route to where you're going. But guys, really, people just need to be safe on the roads today and practice caution wherever they're going.
Victoria, appreciate it. But I also want to tell you, as Victoria was talking and saying, hey, the rain has lightened up here, Brandon very ominously over my shoulder was saying, it won't be for long because more rain, and it's a big red splotch on the radar, has just left Huntington. It is going toward Charleston now, and where Victoria is going to see another downpour here fairly soon.
Yeah, you can see Victoria's live shot there. I mean, just some raindrops coming down. It didn't even seem that severe. And even the flooding there that we saw in that picture, the water is kind of receding already.
Yes, it is.
So it's kind of almost, I hate to say the calm before the storm because we've already had part of a storm,
Correct.
but it gives you a false sense of security, especially people who live in that area might be thinking, well, you know, like I'll just avoid those roads right now. But today's one of those mornings where if you don't have to go to work, you probably want to avoid going altogether because of this next band that's going to be coming through.
The prototypical flash flood. It has come up so quickly. We watched it, say at Halger Boulevard and Washington Boulevard in Huntington, where we were live all through our morning newscast on WSAZ. We saw the water just come up, and then it's already receded to the point you can see the road again. It's that fast of a problem, but it will come back up again when it gets hit again by more of those lightning bolts you just saw over our shoulder.
And stick around with us too, because we are sending our crews all over our region to figure out where these problem areas are. And of course, while one gets better, another one gets worse, and vice versa. This is going to be a very just a fluid situation that we'll be dealing with throughout the morning hours.
We have a crew right this minute headed out to Lavalette and Wayne County because we're hearing there are some real road problems there where the water may have, I don't want to go too far because we don't know fact yet, may have taken out some of those private bridges and trapped some people into their homes. We have a crew headed that way to find out what is going on in Lavalette in Wayne County.
And once again, there are water rescues all over our region in Kanawha County and Putnam County, some even in Cabell County earlier this morning. It's hard to get a full number on these of how many are legitimate, how many are not. That being said,
too many are happening.
Yes, the threat is very real, and it's even hard to get information on a lot of these because dispatch dispatchers are so overwhelmed this morning with the number of calls they're getting, and rightfully so. They don't have time to talk to us to be able to tell us exactly what is happening. That being said, though, this threat is very real this morning. So please, if you don't have to be out this morning, just stay home. We do know in Sissonville the alarms have been sounding, and those alarms telling people basically if you can get out safely, do so now, because they have been doing water rescues all throughout the morning.
And Brandon's been telling us this is a morning problem. Once we can get past the morning, a lot of this issue is going to go away, but we are not out of the woods yet at all. You got to get through the morning first.
We'll be back with more news and weather right after this.
Owning a home comes with responsibilities, and one of them is paying your property taxes on time. Second half discounts on the 2024 tax year are available now until March 3rd. You can pay by credit debit card online at canalsheriff.us, pay by mail, or at the tax division lobby. For assistance, call 304-357-0210 or email the help desk at taxhelp@canalsheriff.us. Avoid more penalties and pay your taxes by March 3rd.
Would you buy a life insurance policy if you knew your rate increased every? What if $9.95 a month bought you less than $1,000 in protection? Sadly, many policies that seniors buy today fail to mention this in their advertisements. You could buy a policy that might not give you enough coverage when you need it most. Call now to receive free information on the Senior Care Plan from Senior Life Insurance Company. The Senior Care Plan guarantees your rates cannot increase. Your benefit will never decrease. There is no medical exam, and you will have lifetime coverage. You could qualify for up to $30,000 in whole life protection, and rates start as low as $5.90 a month. With the Senior Care Plan, your coverage can start immediately, unlike other policies that don't give you full coverage for 2 years. Call now for free information on the Senior Care Plan from Senior Life. By calling now, you lock in the lowest rate possible. You have no obligation. Call now.
From the Appalachian Regional Healthcare Weather Center, this is a First Alert Weather Day.
Well, take a look at this video. We have heavy rains hitting the region this morning. This is video from the Charleston area earlier today, and of course, this is around 3 in the morning. Not what it looked like whenever Victoria showed you some of her live shot, but of course, more of that rain gonna be coming that way right now. Really, we can even hear the rumbles of thunder in the studio right now. We can see those lightning strikes on some of our traffic cameras as well. And Nicholas Snyder is here with us this morning to break down exactly what we can expect on this forecast this morning. I know the threat is right now and really just in the morning hours, but nonetheless, this is when people are out traveling, trying to get to work, and of course, dealing with school closures at this point. Yeah. And a quick note before we get to Nick, so sorry there, Marshall University, 2-hour delay on classes. So this is really affecting not just schools, but universities in our region.
Yes, and we're going to continue to see this until this line gets through. The good news is the line is coming through right now. We're going to start to see clearing after this line, but as of now, we are talking about, again, flash flood concerns over much of the region. With this first alert weather day that we are seeing, we're talking about, of course, a heavy rain now, that snow threat coming a little bit later on. We have to focus on what is going on now, though, with this flash flooding occurring over much of the WSAZ viewing area. I want to zoom on in. You notice how this flash flood warning here, this flash flood warning here, and this flash flood warning here have a red outline to it. That means we are dealing with catastrophic flash flooding in portions of Cabell County through Putnam County all the way to Kanawha County, which means property damage going to be likely. You're going to see road closures and things of that nature. Of course, never drive through a flooded roadway. Turn around, don't drown. We also have flash flood warnings all the way back toward West Liberty, Kentucky, and even a severe thunderstorm warning near Morgan County, Kentucky, as another storm enters there. But notice again the clearing back behind the line as it continues to push through. There's that severe thunderstorm thunderstorm warning into western portions of Morgan County, Kentucky. West Liberty about to get in on some very heavy rain. Very heavy rain already going through the Sandy Hook area as well, all the way up to, again, near that Cabell County area. The reason we're seeing this is because of that temperature gradient. 34 right now, Athens. All the way down to the south, though, we're into the 60s down toward Jackson, Kentucky, Pikeville, Paintsville, places like that, where we're seeing this activity continue. So within the next couple of hours, again, this rain will continue. Temperatures gradually on the increase here, though. We're going to see those showers moving off to further south locations within the viewing area throughout your day, which is going to be good news for a lot of us. By the afternoon, we're looking at temperatures that will be into the 60s, mid 60s at that, and then cooling back into the 40s with light rain shower activity. Here's that line coming through. Again, further off to the west, though, clearing is occurring and high pressure will eventually begin to work on. Going to be the story for the rest of the afternoon. Here's the line right now, sags on to the south. As this line continues to sag on to the south, I want you to notice how it kind of rained on top of itself once again. So if you're down toward, let's say, Pikeville, Prestonsburg, down toward Logan, basically anywhere within the coal fields, you're going to be talking about the potential of more flooding as we head later on into the morning and early portions of the afternoon here. Finally, we get a break, maybe a few more showers overnight further to the south, but a lot of us will dry out overnight, and it'll set the stage for a very nice Friday of weather that will be moving on in, and nothing too bad here. Meanwhile, as we look forward here next Monday and Tuesday, there's our next weather maker, and yes, there will be snow potential. Where that's going to be, way too early to say now, but we know that this storm is going to be an impactful one, whether we see heavy rain or, of course, flood concerns with this as well. Those flash flood warnings continuing for a lot of us. We have flood warnings, flood advisories back here, and a tornado watch. Cannot forget about that for Magoffin and Morgan counties in Kentucky until this line comes through. Here's the forecast. 46 this morning, steady rain and rumbles of thunder, and again, that flooding is going to be a major concern this morning. 66 for your high today. The heaviest rain will shift to the south. We'll see some peaks of sunshine later on, and it will be quite a bit warmer than where we were yesterday. 34 overnight tonight with mostly cloudy skies. We're seeing isolated showers further to the south, and we're edging toward that cool trend again, and that's where we back off to the upper 40s and lower 50s heading into Friday. We warm you back up for Saturday, another rainy day here. I think this system not quite as impactful, or quite nearly as impactful for that matter, as what we're seeing right now. As we head into Sunday, we're much cooler, and then Monday and Tuesday, that impactful system. Again, we know we're either going to see rain or snow. It's just a matter of how warm or cold it's going to be out there, but we do know it is going to be an impactful system there, and that's why the first alert weather days are in place there.
We've been showing the Huntington camera behind us while you've been doing the forecast. It has been crazy lighting up with lightning bolts. Then we hear the thunder up over us. It is like a serious spring storm.
Yeah, happy February, what is it, 6th today?
Yeah, first
Very
week
unusual.
of February,
yeah.
And we're doing this.
And I'll tell you, we're not done. This active pattern continues well into the middle portion of February. So we're going to be on flood watch and maybe even some winter weather watch too for an extended period of time here.
And how much longer will this morning's problems keep going?
It will continue till this line's coming through. So for Huntington, we're just about getting ready to end this.
Okay.
But the high water, of course, with all the rain coming down, still going to linger around down toward the coal fields, down toward, let's say, Pikeville, all the way up Corridor G toward Logan, Madison. We're talking about a little bit extended to the early portions of the afternoon, we're thinking.
I know a lot of people are worried about Monday and Tuesday because of that snow potential, but really what we're dealing with now is I think a lot of people are waking up this morning thinking, uh-oh. And I mean, I know I woke up throughout the night like, is that thunder in February and rain, just this hard rain through February? Very odd to say the least. And of course, as soon as you hit the road, you can see all of that water ponding on the road.
And we thought we would never get rid of those big ice piles.
Right, yeah. They're gone now.
Yeah.
And I will say too, you were mentioning the lightning, Shannon. When I was asleep around 1, 2 a.m., I was seeing those flashes of lightning.
And you just saw them right there.
What is going on outside? And
just hit.
Yeah, there's the lightning and thunder we were expecting. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll be right back with more of our storm coverage.
Molly leaving was one thing, but then I thought Mom's osteoporosis might keep us stuck on the couch. No way.
If you have postmenopausal osteoporosis and are at high risk for fracture, you can do more than just slow bone loss. You can build new bone in 12 months with Evenity. Evenity is proven to significantly reduce spine fracture risk.
She said the Evenity she's taking builds new bone. Builds new bone!
Evenity can increase risk of heart attack, stroke, or death from a heart problem. Tell your doctor if you have had a heart attack or stroke. Do not take Evenity if you have low blood calcium or are allergic to it, as serious events have occurred with Evenity. Signs include rash, hives, swelling of the face or throat, which may cause difficulty in swallowing or breathing, muscle spasms or cramps, numbness, or tingling. Tell your doctor about severe jawbone problems, as they have been reported with Evenity. Report hip, groin, or thigh pain. Unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred with Evenity.
Building bone, we dig it.
Want stronger bones? Ask your doctor about Evenity.
Count on the WSAZ First Alert Weather Team before severe weather strikes.
And the Sunday-Monday storm's catching our attention for the possibility of an important winter storm.
With an in-depth look ahead.
This is a first look at what we could be seeing.
Live storm tracking.
It's just completely snow-covered.
Breaking weather updates.
Still have an icy mix near I-64.
Getting you ready for anything.
This is a solid sheet of ice. It's really hard to scrape this off.
WSAZ First Alert Weather.
Is it falling on deaf ears?
When we investigate,
How do you restore that relationship?
it's about taking a stand for you. Asking tough questions, exploring all sides,
Is it an unreasonable expectation?
finding solutions that keep you safe.
So I started asking about the number of crashes.
Because you want answers.
It wouldn't be like this had WSAZ not done a story on it.
WSAZ investigates, finding truth, our promise to you.
We will get back to our storm coverage in a moment. Want to let you know about some of the local news stories going on as well. A man has died in an officer-involved shooting in Logan County.
There was a hostage situation turning deadly whenever troopers say they were forced to shoot the suspect. WSAZ's Luke Hamilton has details from the scene of what led up to the shooting.
I'm here on Amethyst Drive in Davin, West Virginia, where state troopers in Logan County responded to an active hostage situation. And troopers have stayed on scene most of the night, where one person died. When troopers arrived on Amethyst Drive just a few minutes after noon Wednesday, they found a man named Billy Joe Porter holding a victim at gunpoint. The Logan Detachment of West Virginia State Police tells us they tried negotiating with Porter once they realized it was a hostage situation. Troopers tried telling him to drop his weapon multiple times, but he refused to comply with their orders. Troopers say the victim being held at gunpoint eventually started walking away from Porter, who then aimed his weapon directly at the victim. In that moment, troopers say they used lethal force, shooting Porter and killing him. State police tell us the troopers and the victim were not injured during this incident. In Logan County, Luke Hamilton, WSAZ.
Now, troopers have notified Porter's family members. State police have not released any more details about this incident. Two people have been arrested in connection with an armed robbery at a car dealership. Tajon Randall and Rebecca Powell are being charged with first-degree robbery. Take a look at the surveillance video showing the moments deputies say Randall grabs almost $5,000 as well as deposit checks from the dealership. Deputies say the employee followed Randall and Powell outside. Once outside, deputies say Powell pulled out an object which the employee believed to be a knife.
I mean, it could have ended very badly yesterday, and employee safety is extremely important to me, especially, I mean, a life is obviously priceless.
And Powell are expected back in court February 10th. The 26-year-old Marshall student hit by a car while walking on 3rd Avenue at the crosswalk there. Huntington police say the student was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The 20-year-old driver has been cited for not yielding. Now, the incident happened at the same general area where a 22-year-old student was hit and killed back in 2021. Huntington Police Chief Phil Watkins says Tuesday's incident was not speed-related. The driver was turning as the pedestrian was walking.
This is also Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. Special training session held at St. Joe High School in Huntington, helping students determine the differences between a healthy and an unhealthy relationship. The event put on by Branch's Domestic Violence Shelter. Through this interactive session, Branch's folks helped engage students, especially student athletes, in discussions about boundaries, communication, and relationship mental and emotional well-being.
Domestic violence is insidious because it occurs in every relationship across our society, from the elderly to the middle-aged to young people. And while they may not be experiencing it in exactly the same way that an adult is experiencing it, the foundation for later abuse is being established as young as 14, 15, and 16.
One of the other things they shared was that this is National Teen Dating Abuse Helpline Time, too. It's a 24-hour service, web-based and telephone helpline created to help teenagers who are experiencing any kind of dating abuse who need help. The number is 866-331-9474.
More than $200 million going to water and sewer improvement projects in Huntington over the next several years. The first phase of the project aiming to address a major issue, street flooding. The first phase will start later this spring by separating the storm and sanitary lines at 3rd and 5th Avenues. Huntington Sanitary Board Executive Director Brian Bracey says it's crucial to reduce the flooding risk because as it currently stands, the lines cannot handle heavy rains, and we're seeing that this morning. That causes frequent high water in those areas of town.
Same lines that when you take a shower, you flush your commode, you wash your hands, all that same wastewater goes in where the stormwater's going in. So those lines, that pipe fills up and it's not flowing fast enough to be able to pump and get pushed back all the way to the wastewater treatment plant so that water has nowhere to go. It stays on the surface. So our plan is to give it a place to go so it doesn't just sit there.
Well, it couldn't come sooner, too. The work will be in the area of 24th and 25th Streets between 3rd and 5th Avenue. Brian Bracey says the work will cause traffic disruptions for about a year once the project gets going, as the work will consist of digging up pieces of the road to begin underground work, with the biggest traffic impacts being seen later this fall.
Well, on a day like this, you need to stay up to date with the weather. Make sure you have our WSAZ weather app. You can get it right now, even to stay up to date. We'll get right back, get you the forecast in a moment.
On board Rocky Mountaineer, your journey through the Canadian Rocky Mountains is filled with dramatic moments, and you'll have the best seat in the house. Catching the sun reflecting off Mount Rundle while traversing landscapes that redefine your sense of scale, or emerging from a tunnel into daylight like a curtain rising on a stage for the show nature is putting on just for you. Rocky Mountaineer.
King's Hawaiian meets Fish Deluxe, hence the...
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Brandon Butcher. Today, First Alert Weather Day, we have flood warnings of the highest this morning. Flood warnings from County all the way over to Kanawha County and all the spots in between for areas near rivers here, and perhaps not even so close that we're seeing water on a lot of roadways this morning. Still some heavy rain coming through town, but the places to be the most concerned about is in this border right here between Huntington and Charleston, where more than 2 inches of rain has fallen, even getting close to 3 inches in spots, and that will be our concern going through the day today. But it is just a morning thought. Temperatures are already rising through the 50s at this hour and could even hit those 60s. So this afternoon, the 60s, with a lot of the heaviest rain shifting to the south. Overnight tonight, we expect to see cooler skies down to the 30s, and finally a nice little quiet day on Friday before our next showers show up Saturday.
I would never forget the picture that I have. I'm the only one that's not smiling. Even though I'm with my close friends, I felt alone. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel confident. When I got Invisalign, I built my confidence. It was the best investment that I could do.
Rise, 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 and thrive. Belvita.
4, 3, 2, 1. On the Jennifer Hudson Show, I turn the spotlight on you. Inspiring stories. You are changing lives. I can do it. That's right. The biggest stars. You have your own show.
I love Jennifer.
There you go.
I just pulled up.
You be flirting with everybody.
You damn right.
And did I mention the surprises? I would have worn my good wig.
Good morning to you. I'm Rob Johnson. We are in a breaking news alert on our weather situation. We are seeing high water problems around our region in many spots. Let me take you out to Kanawha County. We'll show you just one of them. This is an area in Kanawha County where an underpass has flooded. This is along Washington Street, and it is impassable. One of many spots impassable right now because of this flash flooding we're seeing from the morning rain. And the morning rain has been just crushing Huntington right now. We have seen lightning bolts, thunder. We have seen high water problems around Huntington. Matter of fact, Howger Boulevard was closed. Although that water looked like it was receding, we are seeing receding happening in many spots just as fast as we're seeing the water come up. And I can tell you, it is still going to keep raining for several more hours around the region, meaning we're not through with this. We have seen schools close. We have seen power outages. Please be careful if you're headed out. All of our cameras are showing rain right now around the region. That's a look at some of the top headlines, but we're going to follow it all morning.
WSAZ 7 a.m. starts now with a First Alert Weather Day.
7:30 now on this Thursday morning when we continue following that First Alert Weather Day. Water dangerously high all over our viewing area this morning. Water rescues really in Kanawha County, Putnam County, Cabell County, as all of this rain has moved in and it's created flooding.
Heard of all kinds of problems around Sissonville in particular. In Lavalette in Wayne County, we saw some problems coming up from the creek in Huntington, Four Pole Creek, which goes through River Park. We have seen issues across the region. Let's get live right now to Victoria Ware. She's live in Charleston with some of those problems.
Rob, I'm here on Virginia Street West, where the viaduct is flooded and water has started to pool at the bottom. And as Brandon mentioned earlier, the rain is slowly building up in the area. We were actually on the other side of the viaduct earlier, and when driving, we saw that other parts of the city, some of the parts that were flooded, have started to recede slightly. But like other roads in the area, there have been orange barricades placed to keep people from going through. Like in this area, there's a sign in front of the barricade on both sides saying street closed. So it's not even accessible for drivers to even try and get through. But this is just another example of the high water that we've been hearing about throughout our region. But the one thing to remember is if you come to a flooded road, it's best to not risk it, turn around, find another route, because we've been hearing reports of water rescues in the region. Even a few inches of water can be problematic, so you should try and give yourself time this morning to find another way. If you have to be out on the roads today, allow yourself just a bit more time to find an alternate way around. But really, it's just important for people to be safe on the roads today because, you know, all of this rain that we've been experiencing, it's really important for people to remember to be cautious. So, Rob, they're just emergency crews are really trying to remind drivers just to not try and drive through these flooded areas and to just be safe through these road conditions.
We certainly don't want to have more water rescues. We've already had enough this morning on that. Victoria, appreciate that report from Charleston.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're broken records saying turn around, don't drown. But even that little bit of water that we were seeing in Victoria's live shot there, I mean, that's enough to disable your car. Then you're talking having to call an insurance company, and actually that isn't necessarily going to be covered, especially if you drive into it yourself. You're going to be
during our morning news. We even had what we think was just a parked car float and go out in the middle of the road because it got swept away by the water. And that wasn't anything anybody did wrong, and yet it ended up in a real problem spot.
Yeah, we've been seeing those problems around the Enslow Park area this morning. You know, we haven't seen that kind of flooding since May of 2022. I can remember the images of not just cars floating by, but that porta-john floating all through there as well.
That was a residential neighborhood that didn't fare well at all.
Not at all, and that's kind of the risk where we're under today. We do want to give you another live look at some of other parts of our region. You're taking a live look here at the area of Lynn Creek in Lavalette this morning, and you can see that water just rushing there through the road, of course, and this is the kind of place where you're not going to be able to really drive safely this morning at all, and this looks like it's coming down through a residential area for that matter, so a lot of the people there are...
Oh my gosh, that's somebody's yard.
Yeah,
that's not a creek, that's a yard.
So that's going to be an area where people are going to be having a hard time trying to get out. Of course, we've been talking about even water rescues going on, not just in Cabell County, but also in Sissonville, as well as Kanawha County, Putnam County this morning as well. But this is just an idea of the damage that all of that water can really do in such a short amount of time, really.
Our crew just showed up here, just got this live shot set up for us so that we could show you what's going on. But this is the neighborhood where we were getting phone calls from people saying that their bridges had been washed out. It's not big, large steel girder bridges. It's the private bridges that get you onto your own private property. And they say in several spots people have lost their bridges. That it's those little culvert crossings that get you into your driveway and to your house. And we're being told in this neighborhood around Lavalette that several people have lost those this morning from the force of the water. And you can tell it is way up. And it's not pouring there like it was earlier this morning, meaning technically this water's going down now. This water is less of a problem now than it was an hour ago. And look what it's doing to this property. It's washing away this whole creek bank to them, and it is going to do damage down creek from here where all that rushing water still has the force, the power to knock out another culvert, to knock out another bridge. And so we haven't been able to get any farther down this road to figure out where those problems are, but those were the phone calls we were taking from people very concerned that they were getting trapped in their home, and they were concerned that the water would come up to their home with no way to get out, no way to evacuate. And we're not seeing the water go up any longer. As a matter of fact, I can't tell exactly, and I've been fooled this morning earlier. I don't think it's raining there right now. That road does not look like it's getting new rain right this second. It looks as though it has stopped for the moment.
And this is one of those things, too, where we're asking for your help as well. Whenever you can do so safely, if you can send us videos and pictures of what you're dealing with in your neighborhood, please do so. You can submit those over on WSAZ.com and over on the WSAZ app. But again, you're taking a live look at Lavalette. This is in the Lynn Creek area. And as Rob alluded to, it doesn't even look like it's actively raining right now, but you can just see that water rushing through there. And a lot of these folks are going to be not going to be able to get out of their homes this morning because their roads, their bridges, like Rob was talking about here, have been washed out this morning, still waiting on that water to recede even more. But again, the rain is not over today, and of course we're going to be dealing with another couple of first alert days next week, Monday and Tuesday. So these people
that's just astonishing to watch.
Yeah, these people are going to be dealing with a lot more of this, and this is not just there. This is across our region. Water rescue still ongoing across Kanawha County and Putnam County. Some of them in Cabell County this morning as well. A much different look, though. Not seeing any of that water coming down actively, and even though we're not seeing that rain, you can just see how that water
it's actually encircling the whole house. There's no way they're going to want to walk out in that. They could actually have that pull their feet out from under them. And so they're in essence stuck in their house for right now. Although it did not look like the house was being flooded, fortunately. But man, that's water encircling the whole thing. And this is exactly why they're not running buses in so many counties. We have a long list of school closings and delays because they do not want school buses running through this. Some of the biggest school systems of our region are now closed today. Charleston schools, Huntington schools, because they did not want school buses running. They didn't want kids out in this. And so please keep an eye at the school closing list. I know you're having trouble seeing it on the screen. We get that. But we have the full list at WSAZ.com, and be aware, through the morning, those have changed. We had several call-in delays that moved to closings.
Yeah, we had like 4, I think, before, 2 or 4 before.
When we first came on the air, it was almost no list at all.
Yeah, and we didn't even realize we didn't think anyway that this list was just going to grow exponentially as it has throughout the morning hours.
It mushroomed as the rain mushroomed.
I know it's frustrating that you're not able to see this at the bottom of your screen, but the reason is those major weather alerts take over what you're seeing because of their importance and how they're affecting people in our region. So maybe it's not affecting your county specifically, but it's still affecting parts of our viewing area, and we need to alert those people about the immediate danger they might be in. Of course, Nick and Brandon both have been talking about tornado watches and tornado warnings to the west of us. Of course, that line of storm is going to be coming toward us as well. So while we showed you Lavalette and the fact that it's not actively raining there, that system still going to be coming through our area, still going to be doing more damage, and that rushing water that you saw through Lavalette, that's only going to get worse if it even gets better before those storms hit our region. So
it's been been coming in waves of rain.
Yeah, definitely something to keep in mind this morning. We do want to get back to some local news this morning as well. A man accused in the attempted murder of an elementary school principal is going to be back in court next month.
Joshua Collins did appear in court yesterday for a trial hearing. He'll be back March 7th. It was October of last year. The deputies say Collins was at South Point Elementary School in Lawrence County, upset over a child custody issue. Officials say both Collins and the South Point principal, Bill Christian, were talking in the hallway just outside the office. It apparently got heated as the two talked. Deputies say Collins pulled out a knife, stabbed Christian in the neck and in the torso. Collins now charged with attempted murder, also facing a felonious assault charge and 11 counts of kidnapping students and staff.
This was a horrible incident that took place in a school. It was very scary for the victim involved. It was very scary for the staff at the school and the children.
Now, his trial's already been set. It'll go the week of April 14th. If he's convicted on everything he's facing, he could get 158 years in prison for this. Deputies with the Kanawha County Sheriff's Office asking for help now in locating 3 people facing charges for a theft we told you about yesterday. This is an update to it. Deputies told us now they're going for a 3rd person for the theft of that welder stolen from the Rural King in Cross Lanes. This is a big item. It's a $1,000 item. Now, they say they've identified the 2 people we showed you on the screen yesterday, and after investigating, revealed a 3rd person was involved. Deputies say they're now after Jimmy LeMaster Jr., Mary Browning, and John Halstead, all wanted on conspiracy charges. LeMaster and Halstead, they told us, actually were already wanted on other charges. But if you know where they are, they're asking you to contact the Sheriff's Office.
2 people wanted in connection with an armed robbery in Cabell County, now in custody. Tajon Randall and Rebecca Powell are being charged with first-degree robbery. This is surveillance video that shows the moments deputies say Randall grabs almost $5,000 as well as deposit checks from the dealership. Deputies say the employee followed Randall and Powell outside. Once outside, deputies say Powell pulled out an object which the employee believed to be a knife. They'll be back in court on February 10th. Stick around. More of our First Alert Weather Day coverage and more local news are coming up right after this break.
Consider does showers? That's right. We offer a wide selection of beautiful and functional showers in all shapes and sizes. We can even convert your bath into a shower. How about that? With our seamless one-piece walls and hundreds of design options, you'll get a beautiful new shower to fit your needs, guaranteed for life. Bathfitter's been around for 40 years, and we've been experts at showers for just as long. Get yours today. Bathfitter, it just fits. Go to bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
What do you want removed? Hair, wrinkles, brown spots, veins? Bad decisions? At Living Well, we have an array of lasers that can remove almost anything, and our laser consultations are free. Text us now, 304-989-2065.
If your business depends on the home improvement industry, you need to be a part of the 2025 WSAZ Home and Garden Show. We are currently booking exhibitors and spaces right now to fill your funnel with qualified leads for 2025. Showcase your products and services to thousands of homeowners planning projects this coming year. Contact Molly Browning or email us at homeandgarden@wsaz.com. The WSAZ Home and Garden Show, March 14th, 15th, and 16th at the Marshall Health Network Arena in downtown Huntington.
Gray Media is growing. We're looking to hire new media executives right now at WSAZ. We're seeking good communicators with high energy and competitive ambition. To apply, go to the careers page on WSAZ.com or scan this QR code. Gray Media helps businesses grow with our catered services. Join the #1 TV station in the tri-state and grow your career with Gray and WSAZ today. In the tri-state, there are a few winter essentials, and one you can't go without. The WSAZ Weather App. The earliest alerts, customized for you, and video forecasts from your First Alert weather team.
Another First Alert weather day in place, this time for snow.
It's the must-have accessory to get you ready for the elements. Download the free WSAZ Weather App, your essential winter survival tool. Sponsored by UK King's Daughters.
Get ready for the Goldbergs every weeknight on the Tri-State CW.
Let's get to your first alert traffic this morning. Start right here with a live look over at I-64 and Institute. Take a look at the downfall of rain over here on this camera. You can see even traffic moving along a little bit slower through here this morning because of the threat of flooding. Of course, the roads covered in water this morning, so you're not going to be wanting to use cruise control. Take a look over at Barbersville. Visibility a little bit sketchy to say the least. Hard to see in the distance because of all of this water that's falling through here. Even traffic through here, while it's steady and while you're starting to see some congestion there, still going slower than it usually would through there. Here's what it looks like right now over at the Fort Hill Bridge in Charleston. The eastbound lanes, of course, seeing most of that traffic. It's also going to be tricky to navigate this area as well. At one point, and whoa, look at that lightning strike. At one point this morning, I-64 eastbound was closed between South Charleston and Charleston because of that flooding threat because water was just covering the road. So definitely something you want to keep in mind this morning. US 52 at Charlie Creek Road looks okay in terms of no rain coming down right now, but I'm going to bet that those roads themselves are going to be having a lot of ponding water. So again, not going to be a good day to be using cruise control, but we'll have another look at traffic here in just a bit.
From the Appalachian Regional Healthcare Weather Center, this is a First Alert Weather Day.
30 minutes or so ago, we were seeing Huntington just pounded by lightning bolt after lightning bolt. And now, guess what? Charleston, get ready, because here it comes. And we're seeing lightning all over the place.
Yeah, that's that last line that's coming on through, and then everything kind of clears out after that. But areas further to the south and east, down in the coal field, we are keeping close because away later on. First, of course, next week, but we really have to because we need right now. It's morning into the really calm on down. Of course, a whole lot going on here. Morning. Warnings that take precedence right now. These flash flood warnings here from Cabell County all the way back into Boyd County, Kentucky, and all the way out to Kanawha County as we head into the Charleston area. That's catastrophic flash flooding. You see that red tint to it as well as the red fill. That is that catastrophic flash flood warning. Also worth mentioning, severe thunderstorm warning for gusty winds for basically southeastern Lincoln County and northern Logan County, including Madison, not including Hamlin, and of course another severe thunderstorm warning down into eastern Kentucky as well. That has a little bit of rotation on it and that we're watching very closely. Remember, tornado watch in place for Morgan and Magoffin counties right here for the next couple of hours or so. But look at all the flash flooding. The flooding is going to be the main concern with these storms that are coming on through. This storm is worth watching again going into Johnson County, Kentucky, just to the northwest of Paintsville. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning there, and it is rotating. We're keeping a very close eye on it, but like I mentioned, the flooding is the main concern here. Floods have occurred because of this. Look at all the rain that has fallen over the last couple of hours or so. 3.9 inches of rain has fallen in this orange area, which is why 4-Pole Creek, 12-Pole Creek, they're experiencing floods, and you've seen it in our pictures this morning. Of course, we've seen a few cars attempt to drive through flooded roadways. I know Hal Greer at Washington Boulevard is flooded. Not a good idea to do that because we've seen some cars swept off the roads and stalled out because of that. The old saying, turn around, don't drown there. Temperatures right now really dependent upon where you are. 35 in Athens, but all the way down into the 60s further to the south, and that's why we're seeing this such active weather, because gradient over the area. Rain continues and storms continue through about the 11 a.m. hour. First alert weather day will be able to come down a little bit later on. By the afternoon, we're starting to clear out, but of course, we're still watching some heavier showers and storms further to the south down here toward the coal fields until this line kind of clears on out. But notice behind this line, we're going to start to see better conditions move on in. High pressure is located back here in the Great Plains, and that will be moving its way into our area during the day tomorrow. Here we go. There's that line clearing out by the rest of the afternoon, and eventually everyone will be looking A-OK a little bit later on today. Could see some redevelopment of a few showers further to the south in far southern portions of our viewing area, but that should not be too huge of a deal. And then heading into your day Friday, we're looking a whole lot better here in terms of weather. And then Saturday, we have to deal with another rain event that will be headed our way. Beyond Saturday, we're talking about the next major storm system coming in Monday into Tuesday, which could bring wintry precipitation, could bring a whole lot of rain to the area. And of course, that is something we are worried about. We need to go to wall-to-wall weather. We have a tornado warning now for portions of, that would be Johnson County, Kentucky to the north of Paintsville. We are going to take a look at that. I need to take a step back to the radar to get you a live track on this. Brandon's going to help me out here with moving the radar around and everything, but we have a tornado warning now for northern Johnson County, Kentucky, and we'll get more information on that as we're moving forward here. There it is, that red box there. That does not include, the city of, no, it does not include the city of Paintsville. But here you go. You see that tight circulation here, this hook signature. That's what we kind of look for in this. I want to go to the radar velocity if we can to give you an idea of what we're looking at. This tornado warning, by the way, till 8:15 a.m. It includes a Flat Gap, Kentucky. This, of course, I believe is US 23 here, just to the north of Paintsville right now. So if you're driving north of Paintsville, all the way up to the Lawrence County line in Kentucky, you do not want to be doing that because that is included in that tornado warning. Good news is, again, this does not include the city of Paintsville, and this is our area of rotation right here. It's a tight circulation. Want to note that this red area right here, this deeper red, is winds going toward the radar, and these orange or yellow areas right here, that's wind going away from the radar. And where Brandon's circling right in there, just to the south of Flat Gap, Kentucky, is where that rotation is. Again, tornado warning is in place for northern portions of Johnson County. If you're just joining us on NBC right now, till 8:15 a.m. Does not include the city of Paintsville, but Flat Gap, Kentucky, this is on top of you. It's moving to the east-southeast, US 23, basically between Louisa all the way down toward Paintsville. Not going to be smart to travel here. And there's the rotation as it's been moving out of Morgan County right now, and it's kind of really strengthened since it has moved out of Morgan County, and that's why they have put that tornado warning in place. Could we put the expiration time up there, Brandon, if we can, just to let people know when this expires? Again, this is a brand new tornado warning till 8:15 a.m., I believe, and the storm motion is to the east-southeast as it's moving further to the east. Want to welcome our viewers on NBC. If you're just joining us, a tornado warning has now been issued for northern portions of Johnson County, Kentucky till 8:15 a.m. right here. That red box that you're seeing right there is Brandon zooming on out. On top of that, we have catastrophic flash flood warnings that are occurring in portions of Cabell County, in portions of Kanawha County, where very heavy precipitation is occurring right now. Multiple severe thunderstorm warnings south of Charleston right now, but of course the thing that takes precedence is that tornado warning here to the north of Paintsville. If you hear Johnson County, Kentucky, you may be thinking Paintsville. Paintsville, you're not included in this. Remember the old saying, respect the polygon. If you're in the polygon, you got to do something. You got to get to that tornado safe place. That's a basement if you have one. If no basement's available, small room near the center of your home, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside world as you possibly can. And of course, windowless room, a good idea. Protect yourself from that flying debris and stay there until we can sound an all clear. That's till about 8:15 a.m. It does not include Lawrence County, Kentucky, or Martin County, Kentucky right now. And again, does not include Paintsville. Paintsville, this is going to cross to the north of you, but we did see the town of Flat Gap, Kentucky, which if we zoom in on our radar picture, it would show up here in that tornado warning right here. And here's a few more roads we can tell you about as well. Kentucky State Route 172 going down toward Volga, Kentucky. Again, this is all north of Paintsville. This is Kentucky State Route 201. And right in here where you see that hook shape, that C shape right there, as Brandon's putting up the wind speeds, that's our rotation right there. This is wind headed away from the radar. This is wind headed toward the radar right here. This darker red is that wind headed away or toward the radar, and this brighter orange is wind headed away from the radar. And we're talking about even some straight line gusty winds up to 70 miles an hour too. So this is still going to cause some wind damage. Remember, just outside of this tornado warning, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for a lot of northern portions of Johnson County. Beyond the heads up too, if you're in southern portions of Lawrence County, Kentucky, down toward Patrick, Kentucky, Kentucky State Route 581, and of course US 23 from Paintsville to the Lawrence County, Kentucky line. Don't want to be driving, and if you live there, you want to be in that tornado safe place. Want to reiterate where that is. That's a basement if you have one. If no basement's available, small room near the center of your home, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you possibly can. Tornado watch remains in place too for a lot of our eastern Kentucky counties as well. Here is that safest place to be. Again, lowest floor of a sturdy structure, small windowless room away from windows, of course, as many walls between you and the outside. Protect yourself from flying debris. That's any type of cushioning. That's blankets, pillows, any cushioning like that. Stay in that safe place until we can sound an all clear. Volga, Flat Gap, Kentucky, and basically northern portions of Paintsville, the northern edge of that Paintsville town line, if you will, up along US 23. If you live near US 23 there on the north side of Paintsville, that's where you need to be taking shelter. Again, let's zoom back on this tornado warning right here. It's this red polygon. Downtown Paintsville not included, but northern portions of really the town of Paintsville, you'd be included. Flat Gap is a little bit further to the north in Johnson County. And here's that storm. It's moving basically due east, so we want to put southern portions of Lawrence County, Kentucky on alert here too. Northern portions of Martin County, Kentucky, including Inez as well. We want to put you on alert here. And what Brandon's highlighting here too, the eastward motion of these storms. On top of this, we're dealing with flooding. Notice how these storms are kind of at an angle, but heavier rain will be coming on top of already heavy rain that's fallen. So we could be dealing with more potential flash floods as we head down the line. Brandon, do we have any reports from the National Weather Service at all at this point right now? He's going to be in communication over there. Remember,
yeah, no, I think so far, I think this is just something that is Doppler indicated, but still obviously something that we have to watch. I mean, this is where we're looking at the scenario where we have catastrophic flooding, and that by itself is its own warning scenario that has the same kind of emergency posture that we would put on it. So for the whole morning hours, we've been watching this particular area here for catastrophic flooding, and it affects a very widespread part of a very populated area, stretching from just south of Ashland straight across through Huntington and Charleston and the like. Now, when we have a tornado warning, it's also a time for us to jump into this constant coverage until we see these tornado warnings go down or until a storm leaves the area that we broadcast in. It's part of our mandate here. So when we will look for these storms to come in, we would immediately then zoom in on where these storms are, and then we would check out, for example, what Nick was looking at, the velocity speeds, and seeing where those storms, the wind is turning pretty quickly here with the direction. And right there would be your example here, now passing east of Flat Gap and north of Paintsville, but crossing Route 23 right now. So these are the times where we also want to have the same level of concern here when it comes over into our region to take shelter immediately and make sure you're in those safe spaces, because there's a lot of places that people may be thinking of going, and at this point, some of them that are not would be, for example, facing one of these would-be tornadoes in a road vehicle or a mobile home or large open rooms and those kinds of things. And of course, a lot of these underpasses and culverts, Nick, are already flooded out. So we've got problem on top of problem with these storms today. But this one is not affecting as large of an area, and thankfully it may even be that tornado warning has finally expired. It was going on until well, actually no, I think it's still there, but we are still tracking that right now.
Yeah, and as you mentioned too, driving, that is not a good idea. Cars are not a safe place to be in during a tornado. Also, mobile homes, they're a great place to live regularly, but if you're in a mobile home during a tornado situation like we're seeing in northern portions of Johnson County, Kentucky right now, not a safe place to be. Find a way to get out of there. And of course, it's more difficult with the flooding that we have seen, but basically along that US 23 corridor from the Lawrence County, Kentucky line all the way down to near downtown Paintsville, you do not want to be driving, or you don't want to be outside or in a not safe place to be. We're also looking at, again, strong thunderstorms further to the east out toward Hart, southern portions of Lincoln County, northern portions of Logan County, into Boone County, and these are moving due to the east. Look at all this heavy rain back here. That's going to cause more flooding. We've already seen, of course, the very, very catastrophic flooding and very imminent flood concern that we have seen in portions of Cabell County earlier on this morning. So flooding on top of this also going to be a concern. But again, the main thing that takes precedence is down here, northern Johnson County, northern portions of Paintsville, and again, Flat Gap, Kentucky, under that tornado warning till 8:15 a.m. I think we can sound it all clear for Flat Gap because most of the rotation is past you, but Lomansville, right here, right along that Lawrence, Johnson County line, kind of a broad area of rotation right here where, again, this deeper red is wind headed toward the radar, and that yellow and pink is the wind headed away from the radar. And again, Brandon, I wouldn't be surprised if we had to put up places within southern portions of Lawrence County on alert here, because we're starting to see that secondary spin up right here, right along that Lawrence and Johnson County line, just 23 between State Route 201 here and US 23. There, you see that gray and that pink right there. I think we might need to be talking about putting places like Patrick, Kentucky, and southern Lawrence County on alert, because the National Weather Service in Charleston may have to consider extending this into Lawrence County. What are you seeing from them right now?
They're still talking about severe thunderstorm warnings being issued all along this line. So I think it is important to talk about places that may not have any of these warnings, but you could see from, say, north of London, Kentucky, all along this very same line, we have been watching for development of any type, whether it be flash flooding and the like. And even though we could see that you may be able to have a somewhat of an all clear north of Huntington and going toward the north and west here, because this line is finally through, some areas that may not have gotten all the attention this morning are now the ones that we're going to be talking about going through the rest of the morning, because the water is going to be rising and you're going to be experiencing thunderstorms. And this thunderstorm activity is in a concentrated line. So even though if you may not be the one in the tornado warning, you could have your own brand of severe thunderstorm or gusty winds, or of course, as we've been seeing, the heavy rain. But yeah, there are the two cells that I'd be looking at is the one now entering just south of Harts, just outside of the Branchland and Harts area here in Lincoln County, and also out toward the Paintsville area. But it does look like...
Yeah, they have expired that, it looks like. I don't see it showing up here on the radar, but
yeah,
Brandon's
that is their purview. But you can also see that there's other ones out, out of our area toward the west.
Out toward London.
Along this entire line is where we're going to be watching for that potential. Now, thank goodness the tornado warning that we have been watching has expired, but at the same point in time, we're going to be watching other storm systems like this one here.
Yeah, and right now what we're going to do, since there is no tornado warning, although we're seeing some areas of spin here, like Brandon was mentioning, southern Wayne County, southern portions of Lincoln County, headed into Logan County. But since there are no tornado warnings at this point, we're going to go ahead and sound it all clear. We're going to send you back to the Today Show. Of course, on the CW, we're continuing our coverage through 9 a.m. You can keep up with us there, but for right now, we're going to send you back to regular programming.